budget insurance. Affordable because you can't afford not to.
The year is 2021, and this is now the natural habitat of the Mercedes-Benz G-Wagon. And of course, the reason it's been standing here overnight is because the car's owner is very responsible and took an Uber home. So how did one of the best 4x4 vehicles ever made, a car loved by militaries around the world, become so cool? How did it come to be loved by Justin Bieber, the Kardashians, and successful strip club owners? It's pretty weird. Well, I think part of the reason is because it has become so luxurious, so expensive, and it's always been so exclusive. To put it into context, between 1979 and 2018, Mercedes-Benz sold just 300,000 of these in 40 years. BMW in 2019, in 1 year alone, sold over 100,000 X5s. This is actually a pretty rare car. And interestingly, it's still hand-built by a military vehicle company in Austria. Literally put together by hand. So few cars are still made like that. So this car has real pedigree. So this is my first time driving a G-Wagon. I don't know why this car has eluded me for so long. And I've got to be honest, I'm pretty much immediately taken in by its charms. I absolutely love this thing. I just feel so important. I wish a car wouldn't make me feel important, but it does. I feel so badass in this thing. Get out of my way, peasants. I mean, sitting in this interior, you'd be forgiven for thinking you're in an S-Class on stilts. It's absolutely incredible in here. And yes, expensive. This G400D model will set you back 2.9 million rand, which means that the AMG models, which are highly sought after, will be well north of 3 million rand. And that is a lot of money for a motor car. While driving it around the city is certainly enjoyable, the Geländewagen remains a properly hardcore off-road machine. And so I thought I'd take this opportunity to live out a lifelong fantasy. But for that, we'd need some dirt. Surely it's every petrolhead's dream to do the infamous Dakar rally. And so, inspired by Jackie X winning the Dakar in a G-Wagon back in 1983, we found an off-road rally circuit outside Cape Town, filled up the tank, and let the G400 loose. Now before we go racing, I'm going to turn my seat cooler on. It's very nice touch. And I'm going to choose a massage. Now, do I want classic, activating, or wave? I think I'm going to go for activating. You know, really get the adrenaline going. Ah, oh, lovely. Okay, I don't think they had that in the Dakar. Sport, yeah. Here we go. Right, 3, 2, 1. So Mercedes-Benz started dreaming up the G-Wagon in 1969, and they only put it on sale In 1979, they spent 10 years developing this car, and it was so good that they barely touched it for the next 40 years. So there's a bit of an urban legend that this car was designed as a military vehicle and then turned into a civilian vehicle, but that's actually not the case. Mercedes intended it to be the best off-road civilian vehicle that money could buy. And it was so good that the Shah of Iran said, "Oh, I like that. Could I please have some military versions?" And Mercedes said yes. Mercedes started developing a whole range of military applications for the G-Wagon. And now it's still used all over the world by about 30 different armies. And they say that 80% of all the G-Wagons ever made are still running around. These things are basically indestructible. Jackie X, you might have heard of him. He won Le Mans 6 times, he won 25 Formula 1 races, and he won the Dakar once, and he did it in one of these. In 1982, Mercedes-Benz built him a special rally version of the G-Wagon. It wasn't even that modified, really. They strengthened the front axle, beefed up the suspension, and made all of the body panels out of aluminium so it was lighter, and that's pretty much it. And off he went, and in 1982 he came second, and in 1983 he won it. And the G-Wagon also has the very honorable title of being the first car to be faster across a Dakar stage than a motorbike. How cool is that? So this is one of the most perfect cars you can find to live out your Dakar fantasy. Traction control kicking in a lot there. Didn't really need it to.
On the straights, the car was flying, but as soon as I came to a corner, the ESP and traction control went into panic mode. The car kept thinking I was having an accident.
Let me explain what's happening here with the traction control switched on. I start having fun, and then the party's over. All right, round 2, traction control off, clack of the buttons as they go down. Here we go. All right, don't crash, Ciro, don't crash. This car has a stonking turbocharged diesel, putting out 243 kilowatts and a massive 700 newton meters of torque. And to be honest, it does kind of need that because it weighs 2.5 tons. A good 250 kilograms heavier than the brand new Land Rover Defender. And you can feel it. This is a heavy car, but it is handling this extremely rough rally track unbelievably well. Oh, that was a little bit of a drift. Hey! Invoke the spirit of Jackie X. This is my first time driving a G-Wagon. I don't know why this car has eluded me my entire career, but I unfortunately have fallen deeply in love with it, and soon I will be eloping to remote parts of Botswana in the hope that Mercedes South Africa can't find me, so that me and my G-Wagon can live out the rest of my life in peace. The Dakar must be so much fun, you know, except for dying of hydration and not having a shower for 10 days and having to change tires 56 times. Other than that, it must be amazing. Yeah, I absolutely love this thing. Thank you, G-Wagon, for helping me live out my Dakar fantasies. Oh, we have a bit of a tire pressure issue. That's not good. So, when I said I really had dreams of doing the Dakar, I didn't want it to be this realistic. I've seen a lot of Dakar drivers in the middle of nowhere changing a tire, and we have a very leaky tire right now. I can actually hear it. You know, in my 15 years of shooting cars, this is my first puncture on a shoes. Ow! Ow! That looks important. Where's the manual?
And so, with my Dakar dream fully realized, I thought about this absurd but wonderful vehicle. In an age where many cars feel brittle and built to a price, the G-Class is unique. It is built to cope with just about anything you or an army can throw at it. But it's also ultra luxurious, ultra comfortable, and has undeniable presence in any environment. It is one of the most charming, charismatic cars I've ever driven. It's almost impossible not to like. It is a design that has stood the test of time, and long may it live.
I'm having a lot of fun. There's a piece of steel in here. Cars.co.za has an enormous amount of cars to choose from. Right now, as I'm recording this, there are over 62,000 different vehicles on our site. So head over there. The address, unsurprisingly, is Cars.co.za, or you can use our app, the link to which is in the description below. Thanks very much for watching. Be safe. Bye.
Budget insurance. Affordable because you can't afford not to.